Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Dharma Helper, and this is DH Reviews. This is my Season 1, Episode 5 review of Scorpion. If you missed any of my previous Scorpion reviews, there will be a link in the description of this video, as well as an annotation behind me on the screen for you to follow, and that'll take, either one of those will take you right to those playlists, and that'll take you right to those videos. Also, earlier this week, I put out my Gotham Season 1, Episode 5 review, and my Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 2, Episode 5 review, which I will link in the description of this video as well. If you want to check those out and get caught up on that. Season 1, Episode 5 of Scorpion was called Plutonium is Forever, and the main story of this is Mark Collins, a former member of the team, summoning and sort of enlisting the help of Walt and the team in preventing a nuclear power plant from melting down. And the conflict in the episode comes where the team sort of tries to reconcile Mark's involvement in the mission and his effect on Walter, as well as struggling and trying to figure out what's going on with this power plant, until it's ultimately revealed that Mark initiated this whole thing in an attempt to get back on the team and to prove himself to Walter and to get back into Walter's good graces. So that's the story of the episode, and let's talk about the characters in this episode, and let's start off with Walter. And Walter in this episode really struggles, and we see a different side of Walter as he interacts with Mark, and he sort of goes against the team and backs Mark up a lot of the time, and is almost manipulated and tricked by Mark in this episode. We learn that Mark had been very close to Walter during his time on the team, and that the two of them had spent a lot of the time together working on problems and working on theories and solutions and all these different things, and going down the rabbit hole, as they call it. And that means that the two of them would spend hours and hours at a time working on equations and problems and theories, and not eating or drinking or talking to people, and developing very antisocial behavior as they worked on these problems. And so a huge part of the episode is Walter falling back into old habits, and the team recognizing that, and recognizing that Walter is in a very dangerous position the longer that Mark is involved in the mission, and Mark's influence on Walter is a negative impact on the team. So that really puts them at odds, in particular with Happy. And Happy in this episode, really, as I said, she's the main person that Walter and Mark come up against, and that has a huge problem with Mark coming back on the team, mostly because Mark teases and taunts her and sort of ridicules her aspect of the team, her engineering, and mostly also secondary, she reveals in this episode that at one point Walter went down the rabbit hole and really started to exhibit very antisocial and very dangerous behaviors, and she was the one to sort of nurse him and bring him back to reality. And we see a more vulnerable side of Happy in this episode, where she doesn't want to do that again or go through that again, and she wants what's best for Walter. And to see a more vulnerable Happy, I think we're starting to understand why her walls are so strong, and why her walls have been built up, and why she's sort of angry and antisocial, and why she prefers mechanics over people. And that was a nice touch for the episode, and I was impressed to see that character development. And really improving on that, let's talk about Toby. And Toby in this episode sticks up for Happy when she has her confrontation with Mark. And then later on, Happy and Toby have a conversation where Happy correctly guesses that Toby is in some financial problems because of his ex-wife, and because his ex-wife refuses to speak with him or see him, she correctly guesses that Toby had gone to some poker tables or something and gambled away a lot of his money, and he's having money problems. And so they have a line in the episode where Toby says, if I were to ask you for a loan, why would that be so bad? And so I think we're seeing that development of the relationship between the two of them start to blossom a little bit into something tangible and something we're going to have to watch out for moving forward in these next couple of episodes. Let's talk about Paige, because Paige is the only member of the team that Mark is not familiar with, and his plan sort of hinges on playing everybody against each other and playing up on everybody's weaknesses, but he doesn't know Paige well enough to know her weaknesses, and ultimately she's the one who correctly guesses the passcode for his radio tower and saves the day. And that was something that he didn't account for, but Mark gets inside her head and makes her question, like Sylvester says. He gets inside people's heads and makes them question their moves, and he's able to beat Sylvester in chess and stuff. And for Paige, he's able to get inside her head and make her question her position on the team, and whether or not Walter is just using her as an experiment and trying to discard her if she fails. And rather than let that fester, which I think was Mark's plan, rather than let that fester and eat away at her and make her question herself, she confronts Walter immediately, which was an emotional decision and something I think nobody else on the team would have done. And I was actually very proud of Paige to see her confront that immediately and to say, you know what, I'm not going to play right into Mark's hands here and let that eat away at me. I'm going to confront that and get that out of the way and get that off my chest so that we can figure out what's going on with that and move on from there. And so I thought that was, again, something that Mark was not anticipating, and to see Paige step up and make herself a contributing member of the team and a formidable member of the team was something I was impressed with. And then at the end of the episode, she takes everybody out of their own heads, as she says in the episode, and gives them a whole mission to cook some chicken piccata. And to see that nurturing motherly nature and the emotional side of things is important, because this episode and the mission was pretty stressful for the team, and that whole theme of everybody going down the rabbit hole and all that stuff, and then to see Paige come up with a solution for that and a way to counteract that was important for her development and her role on the team. So wrapping up my thoughts on characters, let's talk about Mark. And as I said, Mark is a former member of Team Scorpion. He's got an IQ of 190, so the only one who's really smarter than him is Walt. He is able to understand people's weaknesses and understand how to get inside people's heads. As Sylvester says, he's able to make you question yourself and make you question your moves. Sylvester says that he used to play chess with Mark, and he used to lose to Mark because Mark would have you questioning every move you made, even though the move was correct. He would have you questioning it and doubting yourself, and then he would get you a checkmate. So Mark puts this whole thing together after he is sent away from the team and put into that asylum. He puts this whole thing together to get himself back on the team, and his plan almost works. He's able to get Walt off his game and able to play Walt almost against the rest of the team. And the only way that his plan fails is that Walt is able to identify that Mark had something planted where it would affect Happy's solution and make it look like Happy was the one who blew up the power plant and made that whole thing fail. And so they identify that. Walter identifies that, and they go to his Mark's house, and Paige actually guesses the code for Mark's radio tower thing, so that they're able to stop the meltdown. So, speaking about Mark to me is the ultimate villain for the series. He's the perfect choice for a recurring villain, which was something I think the series needed. And I say that because, number one, like I said, he's got an IQ of 190, and he's able to match wits with Walter, which we've not seen out of anybody thus far. And that's important for a villain, to be able to match wits with whoever they're going up against. He's familiar and intimate with the team and with their weaknesses and their strengths. So that is a huge advantage, and a huge thing for for Mark, is being able to understand the team and their weaknesses and be able to play them against each other and disrupt that team dynamic. And additionally, his motivation is something that is key in making him a strong villain. Walter, as I said, sent him away to that asylum, and he resents Walter for that. He resents the team for that. And that motivation, that drive, is something that I think is important to have for a villain in the series. Something that almost kind of makes him sympathetic. But again, something that is a good reason for him to go up against the team. Thus far, we've seen problems that the team has been able to solve very easily. And Mark presents a problem that the team is not going to be able to solve very easily. Number one, because, like I said, he's able to match wits with Walter. And that's something we've not seen before. And Walter is almost arrogant in the way that he solves problems, and in the way that he's always correct. And in this episode, he was not correct. He was wrong 90% of the time. And that Mark is able to get him off his game and make him wrong and make him second guess himself is a huge detriment to the team. And that's almost like cutting the head off the snake. And number two, Mark is able to get inside everyone else's head and make the other members of the team doubt themselves and play up against each other. He almost orchestrated that confrontation with Happy and Walt. So to see somebody who is such a huge detriment to the team is going to be interesting moving forward. I think he's going to be back. He's captured at the end of the episode, but I think he's going to be back, and I think he's going to have a lot of time to plan his chess moves and to plan his next big attack on the team, now that he knows what's going on with Paige and what's going on with the team, and now that he's able to formulate a plan around the new team. So Mark was somebody I was really impressed with. And that wraps up my character sort of review and just my general thoughts on the episode. Really great episode. As I said, introducing a villain like Mark at this point in the series was a very strong move. And they continue to make strong moves and improvements on the series and on the show as we move into this first season and as we get further and further into it. And that's only going to be better and better, in my opinion. They keep addressing problems that they have and fixing them and correcting them and making the show just really fine-tuned. And it really is working. And as I said previously, Scorpion was a show that I wasn't really expecting a lot out of, but it's kind of a surprise favorite of mine so far. And I want to see more of that building and building and building, and the pacing develop more and more and more. I want to see more out of Sylvester. I think if we see more from Sylvester in these next couple of episodes, that'll be another improvement. And we saw a little bit from Cabe in this episode, and a little bit more about his daughter, and that scene with him, almost dying, and then he sort of confronts that picture, and he says, I might be seeing you soon, kiddo, and stuff like that. I want to see exactly what happened with his daughter. And I think that's something that we're going to see moving forward here, is more from Cabe, more from Sylvester, more from maybe Ralph, and more about Cabe's daughter, and just more about the rest of the team. And so that wraps up my thoughts on Scorpion. With that being said, if you enjoyed the review, leave a like so that I know I'm headed in the right direction and I know I'm doing the right things here. If you want to see more reviews like this, subscribe to the channel and you'll see my reviews as they come out. I do Gotham reviews on Tuesdays, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on Wednesdays and Scorpion on Thursdays. And starting next week, I'll do Constantine on Monday. Share this video. Get this video out there on Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, wherever you got to share the video. Subscribe to the channel and you see those reviews as they come out, like I said. Comment down below. Let me know what you thought about the episode. Let me know what you thought about Walt, this episode. Let me know what you think about Mark as a character, as a villain. Do you sympathize with Mark and with because he's such a genius, he lacks that emotional stability, and so really, do you sympathize with Mark being sent away to an asylum, or do you think that was the right choice and that Mark is a danger to the team and to Scorpion and to himself? So comment down below and let me know. We'll keep the conversation going. Follow me on Twitter at the DH Reviews, and we'll talk a little bit there. I tweet a lot about the shows that I watch, and we can talk more in an informal setting there. And I'm interested to see what you guys have to say about that, about the episode and stuff. On Saturday, October 25th, I'm going to be live streaming my review of the pilot for Constantine. That'll be the first ever live streamed review for this channel. So that'll be Saturday, October 25th at 6:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll leave a link in the description of this video to the video that I put out that has more information and more details about the live stream. So watch that video and come by to the live stream on Saturday at 6:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and watch the episode live and give my thoughts on it live and more interaction. I have a more opportunity to interact with you guys live and a little bit better than it would just be with these videos here. And the more support I get with that, the more likely I'm going to be to do live streams for premieres and finales in the future. So it's really important for the channel, and to me, it's important that you guys come and watch that. And I hope to see you guys there. With that said, that'll do it for this video. So thank you guys very much for your support this week. Have a great weekend. I hope to see you guys on Saturday for the Constantine live stream. And with that said, I've been Dharma Helper, and I will see you guys in the next video.